Hello and welcome to this episode of At the Bench with me, Johnny Pets, and today we're talking about wireless video. So we recently invested in our own wireless video system, and that was the idea behind today's video. Now, some of the benefits of this are not necessarily creative. They offer more practical benefits to make filmmaking a lot easier. And in today's video, we're going to go over the pros and cons of using wireless video that we have found on various shoots. So now we're going to jump in and break down the components that make up our unit. So we have three main components that make up our wireless system in general. The first one, and arguably the most important, is your display. We use the Atomos Shogun 4K, which also doubles up as a recorder as well. The second component is then our wooden camera director monitor cage. And in this, you have a V-lock plate, which you got off eBay for a couple of quid. We then have the Teradek Bolt Pro 300 receiver, which I guess you could say is the heart of the unit. Which gives you all your functionality. So this simply slides in there and you are pretty much ready to go. And what we've done with the V-lock plate is we have wired it so you can power both the Teradek and the Atomos, so you can get, if you have high capacity V-locks, you can get, almost a whole day's usage out of this, which is really good. And then the final part of the system is the transmitter on the Dragon. And this essentially transmits the signal, sends it into the Atomos, and then you are getting wireless. So now we're going to go over and figure out how useful the system can be and if it really does make your life easier, which is what wireless is supposed to do. So the first main thing is obviously no wires. That makes things on set a lot easier. You can plop it down, ready to go, your link is up, boom, Bob's your uncle. And obviously the other benefits are for Steadicam, gimbal work, dollies, if you're on a car, if the tripod's in a really difficult location or the camera is somewhere where you can't always get cables and people into. It just makes those kind of things really easy because you haven't got to have a Steadicam getting knocked about by a cable or a gimbal being knocked about. It just kind of makes the shooting process a lot easier, which means you haven't got to worry about those kind of things, which on small sets, you don't have to worry about cables. On larger sets, they have somebody just to deal with cables, but on small, low budget things, wireless is just adding for that peace of mind, really. Now I'm going to start with the Atomos Shogun 4K, which can record 4K. With the Dragon, it only outputs an HD signal, but if you've got an A7S GH4, you can record 4K right into this. The panel itself, which is obviously one of the most important things, I think is really good for the money. It gives you a very good representation of the colors and the image you're going to be getting. Obviously compared to £4,000, £10,000 kind of on-set monitors, there's obviously going to be a difference there. But I think for the money, it does a really great job. And obviously you've got your exposure tools in there as always to help you gauge your exposure on your image, which is always really handy. Then for you focus pullers, you got your focus peaking in there and in your zebras and all that other kind of lovely stuff. If you're a continuity or if you are a director, you can select favorite takes. So if you are in continuity and you just had this unit to yourself, you could very easily just add these tags so the editor later down the line can see those in the XML tags that are put onto the SSD. You may also notice that on the top, for proxy recording, which is really handy, it carries across the file name, so linking them up later makes it a lot easier. And then finally, we have LUTs. Now, LUTs give you, you can manipulate your image to get a base look before you start your kind of grading. A LUT can be a really great way to, if you're doing a period film or a sci-fi film, dial in that look so on set you can see what you're getting. And being able to load these in on this monitor, because on the Dragon you can't, and other cameras you can and cannot, so that obviously varies. But with this, being able to load it in on the monitor is so nice. On set you can see what you're getting with your look that you have made beforehand or chosen. We've got some Kodak on here, Kodak Vision 3, and then a few other different varieties. It's just nice to see the overall image that you're getting. So really happy with this. It's made of plastic, still good build quality. I'm not too worried about it being inside a cage, but it's nothing, I think I'll take a few knocks here and there. Now, the cage itself, really lightweight, great build quality from wooden camera, as always. You can stick a lanyard on it, have it around your neck whenever you want. It's not heavy at all. This whole unit with everything on it, even with a V-lock, isn't heavy at all. You could easily carry this around with you all day. And as you can see here, we've got it on a little stand, so even then, easy peasy. So now we're going to swing around to the back, and we have our V-lock plate. You can put any V-lock on here, the smaller, the less time you'll get. We've got a 146 watt hour on here. We'll get about 4 hours battery time depending on, you know, temperature, all this other kind of stuff. And then obviously with the pterodact. Now, the pterodact is such an easy system to use. It's literally plug and play. And with the 300, compared to the more higher end models, there is no advanced settings. So you can't go and choose the frequency that the signal is distributed on. It just finds the best one and connects it up. It's really well built, metal construction. It's, you know, pterodact is the industry standard for a reason. You know, it's always connecting up. It's a great little bit of kit. It's small, lightweight, which is obviously something we want to have when you're holding this a lot of the time. You want to keep it lightweight. So, I mean, in general, this little unit, I'm really impressed with at the moment, and everything seems to work really nicely together. Now, earlier I did say that it's always connected up. Now, that's if you're within range, and the range is very dependent on the situation you're in. If you're outside, you'll more than likely be able to achieve that 300-foot line of sight range. But the second you take it into an interior location or start putting objects in the way, that there's no way to anticipate what the wireless signal is going to be like. You could be in a room and you can go upstairs and it'll be absolutely perfect. But then in some houses, you may not even be able to leave the room. And I think that's just made down to the 300 not being quite powerful enough to penetrate through the walls. You may need a 600 or a 2000 if you want to start, you know, going into different rooms or, you know, leaving houses and stuff. I think the main benefit of the 300 that we have in this is that you stay in the vicinity of the camera and you're making your life easier for you on set to be able to take the monitor where you want, sit where you want, and just saving, as I said earlier, saving time and not having to deal with cables. Another problem we had was both the Atomos and pterodact bolt had to go back to the manufacturer because they both developed problems. On the Atomos, we found that the DC input died, which obviously was a very important part for us because the V-lock goes through the DC. And the pterodact bolt was also making a clicking sound. So both of those went back to get repaired, and since then we've had no problems, but I just thought I'd mention that because having both units die was a bit weird considering they were both brand new. So another little problem we've had is the naming conventions coming from the camera into the unit. Now obviously if you want to use this for proxy recording, having the name of the file is very important to link up later in post. And sometimes, depending on the order you boot up different parts in the chain, it won't carry that across and it will glitch out and rename it its own Atomos 001 kind of thing. So at the moment it is following what the red naming convention is, A02 CA1, but sometimes if you turn the monitor on first or the transmitter first, it just won't do that and you have to restart the whole process over again, which obviously is meant to make time savings a lot easier. But you know, this is one of the things that if it goes down, you know, you have to spend 2-3 minutes trying to fix it back up again. So sometimes that can be a bit annoying. So to summarize, do I think that wireless video and this setup in general is worth it? Short answer, yes, but it depends what kind of shooter you are. I think that it's a very luxurious item to have on set and almost the last thing you should be looking to get. You know, if you're a self-shooter, lenses, tripod, camera, those are the kind of things that for a self-shooter I think are very important, and obviously your lighting setup. If you're making a short film, you know, crew, food, you know, art department, that kind of stuff, that's where the money needs to go. Because this doesn't have any creative impact, it just makes your life on set a lot easier. And at the point where we are, this is something that we really wanted and just makes our life a whole lot easier. Obviously, if you're shooting on a Steadicam or a gimbal, or you've got a lot of stuff where it's mounted to a car or weird positions, wireless video is a must. But I think if you're just a normal shooter looking, you know, just to make things a little bit easier on set, or if you like technology in general, you know, maybe wait on this. You know, for the money with the 300 where you don't necessarily get that freedom to walk wherever you want, it may be worth waiting out and see how this technology develops in the future. But at the moment, I'm really happy with this setup. It makes our life a lot easier. I love the LUTs and I love this system in general. So that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. It's just a little short one to talk about our new investment. Next week, we're going to be at BSC doing some videos about the cool technology that's there, see if we can see a weapon, Alexa 65, see who else is there, what other cool products are around and about. And then also, we are in the process of making a DJI Focus versus Preston and a C-Motion and an ARRI WCU4, as quite a lot of you requested to see the comparison, and we're going to be getting in an AC to give his impressions of what he thinks of all the units. So thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time. So as you can see, we're on a very busy set and there is no way we can get to the camera. The camera crew around the camera are doing stuff they need to do, setting up the shot. So being the DP,